This video will discuss the role of business in the environment and how the environment affects the firm. The local and international business environment of the firm. Local business environments are influenced by the unique local circumstances and consumer features, but it works in a wider economic sense as well. Locally, the company needs to compete for staff, supplier services at a fair price, local advertising, and marketing networks. On the other hand, international business environment is the world outside the Philippines and in different sovereign nations, with conditions that are distinct from the organization's home setting and the international country the organization works in. Understanding local and international business environment of the firm will require the managers to sharpen their cultural intelligence. Cultural intelligence is an individual's ability to favorably receive and adjust to an unfamiliar way of doing things. This will enable managers to develop their ability to accept and adopt to different cultures, both local and international, that may affect the organization to which they belong to. Anthropologist Edward T. Hall, as cited by Shermer Horn, noted that the way people approach and deal with time varies across cultures. We have monochronic culture and the polychronic culture. What is monochronic culture? It means this is a culture wherein people tend to do one thing at a time. These cultures emphasize punctuality and sticking to set rules, while polychronic cultures, on the other hand, are more flexible as regards to time. Accomplishing many different things at once is also common for these cultures. It may be very frustrating for one who is influenced by a monochronic culture to be dealing with one who is influenced by a polychronic culture if he or she does not possess cultural intelligence. Great Hofstede, also quoted by Shermer Horn, explained how selected countries listed among the 5 cultural dimensions he examined. The first one is the power distance. Power distance is the degree to which the society accepts or rejects the unequal distribution of power among people in organization. Different cultures handle human inequalities differently. Higher power distance culture tend to prefer autocracy, while lower power distance cultures tend to prefer collaboration and lower levels or less formal forms of hierarchical organizations. For example, in India and the Philippines have higher power distance, while the US and Australia have low power distance. The use of the terms sir and madam to refer to the boss or superior by subordinate employees in the Philippines shows respect for authority figures or high power distance. In the US, subordinates just use the name or nickname of the boss when addressing him or her, indicating low power distance. Next is uncertainty avoidance. Uncertainty avoidance is the degree to which the society is uncomfortable with risk, change, and situational uncertainty. Low tolerance for uncertainty means you worry about the future, you are more loyal to your employer, and accept seniority as basis for leadership. High tolerance welcomes risk-taking, change, and rule breaking. Example, managers in the US are risk-takers. Introducing new products in the market is easier for them to do as compared with those from Japan and France. Next is individualism or collectivism. It is the degree to which a society emphasizes individual accomplishments versus collective accomplishments. In individualistic cultures, people tend to act independently, while in collectivistic cultures, peer or social pressures impact decision-making and actions. Individualistic cultures like those of the US and Australia are characterized as I and me cultures where employees prefer to work alone without help from others. while in Mexico, Thailand, and Philippines exhibit collectivism or preference for group or teamwork. Next is masculinity, femininity, which means the degree to which a society values assertiveness and feelings of material success versus concern for relationship. When we say masculine cultures, it tends to demonstrate, reinforce, and act with masculine characteristics such as assertiveness. For example, the Japanese and Mexicans do not hesitate to push or express what they want, and mindful of hurting others' feelings, thus showing masculinity. Feminine cultures tend to exhibit, demonstrate, reinforce, and act with feminine or soft characteristics such as support and nurturance. For Filipinos, Thais, and Swedes would rather keep quiet and accept defeat if what they want is not acceptable to others. They, therefore, exhibit femininity. Last is time orientation. It is the degree to which a society emphasizes short-term thinking versus greater concern for the future or long-term thinking. It also refers to viewing of time in the present, past, or future. For example, the Americans who are risk-takers prefer short-term thinking. On the other hand, Filipinos and the Japanese who are not risk-takers are long-term thinkers. We have different, or our focus is, for example, the American culture who is future-oriented. For them, time is highly valuable resource, and for them, time is money. While for Asians and Latin countries, punctuality is not taken seriously. The local culture of a particular country also influences the management practices of firms. An example is the manana habit, which is part of the local Filipino culture and practiced by some Filipino workers. It is counterproductive since it encourages the postponement of performing tasks that can be done immediately to another day. Managing and disciplining workers who practice this habit would be easier for managers if they are able to identify the workers who adhere to such negative work habit and prevent them from doing it. This, however, is easier said than done because it is difficult to explain a country's unique cultural characteristics. If you have any questions about the topic discussed in this video, feel free to send me a message.